Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I don't think there's anybody on this planet that can walk around and say, I've never had any stomach issues, never had any digestion issues, never had anything dealing with my stomach. No problem. Everything's been great. Never had a problem. I don't think it exists. We've all gone through it, whether it's something you ate, whether it's an ongoing situation, whether it's stress, anxiety, fueling things up. We're going to look at that today. Better digestion, less GI upsets in your life. And she's got an amazing 5-step program that helps people with this all the time. And she's an advanced practice board certified clinical nurse specialist. And she's also certified as an elite trainer with the International Sports and Science Association of Fitness, Nutrition, and also corrective exercises. And oh, by the way, she's also our professional of the year. Marianne Wietbrock is back with us. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey, it's a Monday. The sun is out. And, what did you eat over the weekend that caused your stomach to be so upset today?
Are you reading my mind? Are you reading my mind, Marianne?
Well, I used to work, my office used to be in a gym, and I could see people coming and going. And so Monday's usually my rest day because like this weekend I was like moving a garden, like a huge garden. Taking it out and so a lot of landscaping, and so that's physical labor. So I closed all my circles. I was good. Everybody knows what that means now, so if you have a watch. But then people are coming in on Mondays. It's like, I'm going to pump iron and make up for the weekend. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm taking the day off. This is my rest day. It's like, I can't do anymore. I need a break. And then, I hear from, I've heard, over the years, I've been in practice for 10 years now. And I hear what people eat on the weekends, and how it makes them feel. And I'm like, why do you do that to yourself? And you could feel so much better and have so much energy. And your GI is just, is actually your gut health. And so they're finding that gut health is the key to health. And when you treat it right, it is going to treat you like gold, and it's going to just be your friend. And when you don't treat it right, you're going to be sorry. And now I have to say, occasionally I might eat something off the wall, not very often. And when I do, I'm like, oh, no, that just reminds me I need to stay away from that. When you're talking about French fries and fried food and this and I live in central Indiana. We're known for the fried tenderloin, and most people didn't even know what that was. Well, we have the pork and the pigs, and so we took our pork and we fried it up, and here you go. Here's a lovely fried tenderloin sandwich, and so the pride of Indiana. So, well, I tell you what, a grilled pork chop is so much tastier and you feel so much better after eating it. So today, we're going to talk about gut health. We're going to talk about what that means. Everyone's stomachs, are growing. If you put your hands on your stomach now and just feel how round it is, right? Is it round or is it flat? Okay. If you stand up and look down, can you see your stomach? Okay. And so when that happens, your waist is too large. And so now there's a lot of research coming out right now about weight loss because everybody's doing weight loss, right? And there's an article that came out today like, oh, well, you're losing muscle mass from weight loss from these weight loss drugs. Oh, we have a drug for that. Okay, well, how many drugs are you going to take to actually have the weight loss that you want? And so weight loss and drugs actually are doing the opposite. The drugs are doing the opposite of what you really want. And it's not a good scene. And so I'm here to tell you, that the weight loss drug companies they're selling their product and they're doing it quite well. You see all their commercials, and we need those drug companies because they do give us some very, very good beneficial drugs at times. But the weight loss fad, I can tell you what, my diabetics don't like taking Ozempic.
Yeah. I was going to bring that one up. I'm glad you did. It seems to be almost like an epidemic now where you can't even find, many pharmacies don't have it in stock. Physicians are aware of that, uh, trouble prescribing it because it's being prescribed more times than not for weight loss now.
Oh, and then they're also making it like off market, so you never know what you're going to get. And so,
Hmm.
when I've been doing this for 10 years before weight loss drugs were ever thought of, before Ozempic was even a drug on the market, and my clients using this 5-step program have been losing weight and losing inches. Okay, well, the problem is it, and it's in the textbooks. I'm not making any of this up. I've been reading literature, research every day, all this research coming out, and it does take some time to do a research, actually the correct way, to do it in the form of a total research process. And so now there are some times when a research study is not done. We don't really need to get into too much of that, but because it's too expensive. But there's many times when I don't see is a lot of these weight loss drugs compared to a 5-step wellness program. And the sensitivities of people's stomachs. And so if you want to be nauseated, you want to be thin and nauseated, okay, go for it. If you want to be thin and feel great, come see me. Come see the 5steps.net.
Do you think that a lot of people look at five-step program versus Ozempic and say, it's too much work. It's too much for me to do. I just take this one pill or whatever it might be, and that's the easy way out. Although they're not realizing what side effects could come on from taking medications and how they're potentially doing harm to their body. Your 5-step program is easy.
When people actually get on the program and they see what the program is, they're like, well, this is easy. I can do this anywhere. I don't have to buy product. I don't have to have a prescription. I can feel the best of me. And it's because that's a problem. I don't have a product. Well, I do have a product now. It's called the 5-Step Wellness Program at 5steps.net. That's a 5 steps with an S, okay, .net. And the program leads you into the world of what is everyone doing, okay, now that is losing weight and doing it without drugs. And so there is the alternative. And the losing that waist, because now, I don't know, it's summertime everywhere, right? We all want to get into the bikinis. Well, some of us don't belong in bikinis ever again. But you can look better and fit in your clothes. I've had people shrink and they're like, oh, I can see my shoulder bones again, and I can see my waist again. I've lost the inches and I'm losing it off of my butt and I'm losing my pants. Oh my gosh. And how are we doing that? And so when you have to look at research carefully, because, and that's what I've been trained as a clinical nurse specialist, as an advanced practice nurse. In my program, I have the same education level in clinicals and hours and courses as a nurse practitioner. Okay. And she's very valuable with the doctors. She helps the doctors listen to the patients, basically helps them with diagnose and treat. Okay. The clinical nurse specialist actually, as the same level, had hours and hours and hours of looking at research and out there listening to people and actually looking at symptom management and functional enhancement. Okay, so I'm published on these articles, which is pretty cool. I am writing a book right now, which is really exciting, and putting that into words that you can understand. But simply listening to people's symptoms and helping them with their food and moving, and they're feeling better. Okay, they're losing those inches. And no, we're not cooking. We're not spending all day in the kitchen. That's what people want. They want savory, tasty, spicy, to their spice level food. And I can tell you, you're not going to get that necessarily in a drive-through. And
Well,
when
I can tell you what you are going to get, and I'm experiencing it today after after my weekend. Just what you were saying before. It's like you were reading my mind, and I want to share. I've gotten on a cleaner path. Haven't done the 5 step yet, but I wanted to ramp up to something like that. So I've been eating cleaner. Yesterday came along, fast food, if you want to call it that, for breakfast. It was like, I'm just gonna treat myself. I'm just gonna do it. What's a breakfast sandwich? Blah, blah, blah. Then came the afternoon. Then came the French fries. I was out somewhere. I'm like, have another, and not feeling as good as I normally feel today because of it. And it's right to your point. We jump to these things thinking that what's a little cheap meal. If you stick to a program like you have, that's what's gonna make the difference. We don't need French fries. They're just not good for you.
Well, the French fry is kind of boring. It has no spices. It's not savory. It's
No,
not even crunchy. And
no,
so there's all these things that are missing that the French fry is
right.
like, oh my gosh, it's comfort food, right? People want comfort food. Well, you know what? I had some comfort food leftovers last night, and I am just as happy. And I didn't spend but half an hour in the kitchen last night, made some food, and the recipes on the 5steps.net are actually easy, and they can be done by anyone. They can be done for a single person or families. And I tell you, when the kids come asking for Mamaw's blueberry muffins, you've got an award winner.
Blueberry
And
muffins.
blueberry muffins and wheat pancakes. Who says we have to like miss out on the good food? Okay.
Hmm.
And so, I eat good food. I like a queen, I feel like. And so I can't get this food out when I go out. So I almost want to eat at home because my food makes me feel good, gives me energy. And you know what? I don't have that waste. And
I do.
if you have a waste, actually, the waste, if you look at that, where did the waste come from? Okay, people did not used to have a waste. They had a skinny middle section, correct? Then all of a sudden, people started having the waste, and everybody thought, oh, well, that's a beer gut, a beer belly, right? Well, and then you have women, which, depending on their age, it's like, are you pregnant or are you just, not? Or so, you're kind of embarrassed to ask. And then women are feeling embarrassed, okay, because they have that. So they're wearing baggier clothes, and clothes are getting bigger. And actually, that waist is not shrinking no matter what they do. And so when you look at where that waste come from, where did it come from? Why did it get so big? Well, as you look at the foods that we eat, okay, I have an article right here in front of me. When you look at the foods that we eat, okay, that people eat in drive-throughs and in restaurants, and you can't eat out there, and basically there is a way to do that. And eat healthier. But when you're eating all the sodium, okay, the salt, whether it's Himalaya salt or sea salt or Morton salt or low sodium. I mean, that sodium intake, okay, upsets your hydration status and your body retains water. Well, where does it go? Well, you may not see it in your ankles, but it can be absorbed into your gut, okay? Your gut was an easy way for fluid to be stored. And so over time, it builds and it builds. And there you go. Then you have a large stomach. And how do you get rid of it? Well, I tell you what, the 5steps.net, we have spices that we use. There's a whole section there on spices, on how to use spices. And meals don't have to take but 5 or 10 minutes to prepare. And yes, you have cooking time, but what can you do in that time? Well, it's all in the eating hygiene process that we have at the 5steps.net, and it's all there. There are people that live it, and there's people that go home on their couch and is like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I gotta just veg here because I'm exhausted.
You had me at blueberry muffins.
Oh, I love them. I love them. I'm so excited. I didn't have time to wait making this weekend, but I'm going to be making them very soon.
I should have been eating that yesterday, but anyway, let's go into, we're talking about the digestion issues that many of us have. When we eat some of the stuff that we really shouldn't be eating, what's actually going on down there that's throwing things off?
Well, the gluten, there's a big one. All right. So now nobody wants to eat gluten, right? Well, so we'll talk about gluten free for eating gluten first. Eating gluten is kind of like eating glue when you eat too much of it. Now, does that mean that eating wheat products is bad? No. Okay. But eating gluten, okay, is a form of a wheat. And when you eat all this food, it actually, your stomach can't handle that. And you're like, oh, I got a stomach of iron. I can eat anything I want. Okay, well, what does your stomach look like? Now, I am here to say that there are some really nice gluten products out there. I do use some flour, okay, but there's other ways of making food to make it gluten-free. There are a lot of people now that are becoming gluten insensitive. Well, and there's a lot of people that are becoming beef sensitive, and there's a lot of sensitivities out there, and we kind of have to look at that as far as each person and what you've been eating, and did you overeat, or maybe you just haven't been eating and then you ate it and made you sick. And so there is the celiac disease. If you have celiac disease, do not eat gluten. Your body cannot tolerate it. And so then there's the gluten-free products. Well, what's in a gluten-free product? Well, I've seen some bread made of tapioca. I'm sorry, I'd rather eat some good, better bread than this tapioca bread.
Doesn't sound appealing at all.
No, because to me, we really need to look at what we're eating, what's in the food labels, okay? And we don't have time. Come to the 5steps.net, because then we have it all worked out for you. And people are having better digestion, okay? And when I mean that, I mean they don't have the reflux. They don't have the diarrhea or the constipation. Their bowels are working. And yes, your bowels do need to work. You do need to go to the bathroom. I'm a nurse, okay? I always thought that we're the queen of the poop. You do need to go to the bathroom.
Can I interject one thing here? And yes, everybody goes to the bathroom. Don't pretend that you don't. We all, even if you're a woman, I've heard this before. But anyway, we should be going to the bathroom multiple times a day. That's what I hear. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as the bowel movements, you need to have a bowel movement every day or two. Okay. Third day, you're in trouble. Take some Metamucil. Okay. You don't need anything else. Just take some Metamucil. Okay. Don't let it get beyond that. And the other part, the need to get your kidneys moving. Okay. You should be going to the bathroom every hour or two. Yes, that means you have to get up, means you have to walk to the bathroom, and yes, you have to take time out of your day. And when you drink the water that's recommended on the 5steps.net program, which is all by research, then you are actually, you need things flowing. And so I found many people that go to work and they sit there till lunch, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't good for anything in your body. The sitting is the new smoking. So it's worse than smoking.
Yes, you are so right about that. And that was part of my derail. Being honest here, I believe my digestion suffered from sitting. And somebody just said that to me the other day, that sitting is the new smoking. It's horrible. Not just digestion, but your flexibility, especially as you get older. You don't have the same movement. You're not moving around. Many of us, especially because of COVID and working from home. I'm not. I'm in an office, but I'm sitting. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And movement creates movement in the bathroom.
Actually, there's a lady just recently, and she was having bowel problems with her. I get feedback from my 5steps.net. There's a contact page. You can tell me your little stories. That's how I get a lot of these stories. And she said, "Oh, I was constipated, but after I started moving and eating and standing and doing all this stuff, I mean, her doctor's prescribing medicine, and she didn't need that because actually her bowels were working and she was having less back pain like right away, having less back pain, and so she could move more, and her bowels were starting to work, and that's a good thing. That's we need to reframe what life should be, and it's not. Now I know your boss is very, very, very important. Okay, and most, but we need to take into perspective that we do need time in the restroom, not to be on our cell phones, okay, but to, do our thing and actually move on. And you're going to be more productive, and he's going to like it because you're more productive, because you were eating right and things are flowing and your mind is clear and we don't have the brain fog. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I needed some sugar and caffeine. And no, you don't. I'm here to tell you that eating right, you're going to have a clear mind and you're going to breathe easy. And actually, it does make life better for everyone, including yourself.
Do you believe that when the body is in balance, everything will work great? And when things are off balance, let's say you don't get enough sleep, you're not properly hydrated, you're not going to the bathroom like you should, you're obviously not eating the right foods. All of that is going to set it off kilter, and you're not going to have that perfect balance. When it's in balance, you give it everything it needs, it'll run great. You won't be as ill. You might not have a disease, all of those things when you give it your body what it needs, starting with nutrition.
So nutrition and exercise and fitness, well, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to eat right. I don't have to do all this. Well, I tell you what, when you don't, okay, every day that you don't, you're shortening your life. I always say that there is time in the day, and we can find that for every person, whether it's morning, noon, night, and so then finding a way to make it work, reframing our life, and not sitting in front of the TV for hours and then I can't sleep. Well, okay, then you're not hungry because you haven't moved, and so get moving. Stretch, all this stuff on the 5 steps, okay, is hugely important. And remap out your life. Okay, let's remap out your life so that you do have time to live this, so you enjoy your life and that you're not miserable. People are miserable and they don't even know it.
So we're just about out of time. Tell everybody now the website, just as a reminder, and just briefly what the program actually entails, what you get with it.
5steps.net. You will actually get your hands on a full recipe book, a full scale exercise program videos at your fingertips. It's a one-time low cost fee. And then basically you can have access, if you like, to further resources as we come along. There's an email that you can actually subscribe to if you wish. And this is something that people are really, really engaging in and finding it as well. It should be the first thought. It's the lifestyle that everyone needs to be doing with or without your drugs.
I want to share with everybody, this is not something that Marianne just created. Been around for a decade, helped hundreds of people. It gives you, for one low, I can't believe how cost effective this is, but then you get access to all the videos, all the recipes, all the insight, all the information for one fee. And it's it's less than 2 meals at a decent restaurant, not a nice restaurant, just like a local place. 2 meals for yourself, what you would pay. This is all included. So well worth it. Marianne, thank you for sharing everything today. The digestion thing is so huge, and many of us don't even realize what's going on down there based on what's going on out here in terms of our bodies. It's at is it 5steps.net or 5-steps.net?
5-steps.net. Yes.
Gotcha.
5-steps. Yes. .net. Very good.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, also being our professional of the year, and go to the website at the very least and look what you're getting. Well worth it. Appreciate all the insight and all the information. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve. See you next week.
You got it. We're coming right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.